Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our summer space shape up. And this is week 5 already. Can you believe that? 1/3 of the way is already over. Hard to believe how fast time goes. Okay, so up for today in week 5, we're going to talk about maintaining some things we talked about in weeks 1 through 4 and then our stamps and our scraps. Yes, we're going to get busy with both of those. So a little bit of talk about those. And so let's just get started because we want to talk about what we did in weeks 1 through 4, because as you're doing this, if you started at week 1, you don't have to, is that you want to maintain what you already did. So the first thing, and I would say if you only do one thing over the summer, is just maintaining your desk. Keep this area neat and clean. It doesn't matter if you throw everything in a box. And you'll deal with it later, just so you can keep your desk area clean so you can keep on scrapbooking over the summer. That is all you simply need to do for a summer space shape up. And I will tell you, a few years ago when I started doing that, it makes a huge difference. And so anything that lands on this desk, it's got to be something pretty special that I need to address right away, because I really got into the habit of keeping this desk area clean, because I would get so aggravated with myself when I'd come back to my space, have 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes to sit here and play and scrapbook, and then I had to deal with whatever was here. So I broke myself of that habit. I haven't broke myself of a lot of habits in life, but that's one of them. So yes, it's made a big difference. So get in the habit of always keeping this desk ready to scrap, regardless if you have 10 piles to your left and 20 piles to your right. It doesn't matter, as long as this has no pile, you're good to go. Okay, so the other thing we want to talk about is, you know, the things we talked about with our cardstock and our pattern papers and paper pads. And again, just look through weeks 1 through 4 for that. And by the way, I want to say, if you're new to the channel, you can always hop and hap. Yes, you can always hop over to Deborah's Facebook group. I will have the link below and you can get this PDF. And so this is the round 2 version. So it's basically what we talked about last summer. It's just I'm adding a level 3 to this year. So those notes will be listed below. And at the end of the summer, I will have a new PDF that the gals over there at Deborah's Facebook group will load, and it'll have the level 3 notes on it. But that'll be at the end of the summer. So because you can always do this over and over again until you basically have addressed all of these categories in your space. That's what I do. Every so often, I feel a little cattywampus in my space. I just go back from the beginning and I look at week 1 to see what needs done. Week 2, can I spruce anything up? Week 3, is there something I can organize a little bit more? So I do that not just one time a year, a couple times. Okay, so then also too, have you put away your inspiration, your sketches, your class materials? Have you addressed any photos? And I will tell you, my photo basket is still a basket of photos. Yes, but I did find a group that needs to go in the basket. So yeah, that's something, right? Yeah, I do have to address my photos, but some things, and that's what I want to tell you, some things you just can't get to. You just put it on the back burner, because you will revisit that again as each week goes through. So next week, maybe I will have time for my photos. It's just not going to be this week. And then also too, this week is going to be stamps and scraps. Okay. And if you do have a lot of things that you need to address and you want to get them off your desk, just get a basket or a bin, simply. Don't get a huge tote, not a huge tote, a basket or bin, and just put those items in there. Say if you got a punch you got to put away. Say if you have, what do I have laying here? Oh, I have another punch. Yeah, if you have another punch, just put those in that basket or bin till you get things put away. Yes. Now, but when it comes to dies and stamps, remember those are expensive supplies. Don't be just throwing them around. No. Okay, so let's talk about scraps and stamps, and we're going to talk about stamps first. Okay, because we're going to play around with our scraps a little bit for something a little different in this summer space shape up. Okay, so let's talk about stamps, because that is what we're going to talk about this week. And in the simplest form for your stamps, all you would simply do is just gather what you have, whether you have them organized in, let me just grab one, whether you have them organized in an Avery L pocket, or any kind of pocket, or page protector, or the brand new, or things you just haven't addressed, or things you've gotten as gift or Happy Meal, absolutely. Then just get them all in one place. So again, that's where that basket and bin comes into place. Just gather everything up, put them in one area, and then as you're cleaning other spaces, other piles in your space and you run across a stamp, then go put it in that other basket and bin with your other stamps. And just simply corral them, get them in one spot. Simple, done. That's all you need to do. So basically, you're just finding a temporary home for them. So when you come across those stamps, in a kit or when you're finishing up a layout and it's not, you just don't want to put it away, just put it in a basket a minute and you can address them later. That's level 1. Level 2 would be talking about is maybe putting these away, protecting them, and so that would be maybe getting them out of the packaging and putting them in whatever system you're using. For me, I use Avery L pockets. I have a few more here. Okay. And we're going to talk about stamp accessories too, so hang on for that. And so that's all I do is I simply just put them in an Avery L pocket. And I will have a video listed below that I think for me in my space, organizing border stickers and then also stamps. They were my 2 hardest categories, bar none. And until I realized for my stamps, until I realized I need to go back to the very basics of stamps, this was just a project that kept being on my to-do list year after year after year. It kept being a pain. It kept being a project. And so I just went back to the basics. And there'll be a video listed below. You can watch more about that. So basically what I did, at one time I had each one of these numbered. And then I was planning on doing an inventory of all of them. I started that. After, I would say probably about 6 or 7 months, I scrapped it. I absolutely hated the project. And organizing should be fun. You shouldn't hate it. If you hate it, then it's probably the wrong system for you. And so I just removed every label and I again just put all my stamps in categories, and I'll show you a little bit about that because we're just talking, we're just hanging out. Yes, okay. And if you have a great way of organizing your stamps, or if you have a certain container that's working for you for your stamps, please list below because we're always looking for something when it comes to the stamps. Okay, so let me get my bin here, and so you'll see more about this in the video, but I have 4 of these bins, and so that's my complete stamp inventory. So what I did was I of course have every stamp that I own except ones that have been new and Happy Mail. Just look at that. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 sets to be put away. Okay, so that would be your level 2, is putting things away. Okay, so whatever system you're using, you need to address what came into your space recently or ones that you've been playing with and you haven't put away. So that's what you need to do, and that's what I'll be doing. I will be putting these in Avery L pockets. Now this is not going to fit in an Avery L pocket, so what will I do? I will probably cut those in half. That's exactly what I'll do, and I'll put both in one Avery L pocket. Okay, because I want all my stamps in a pocket. And so I don't think I have anything here. But let me see if I can find one. Okay, these are background. I'm trying to find one where I had cut up a set. But I have no problem. Well, here's something. I have no problem cutting up stamps. Yeah, that right there. That was on a big sheet of stamps. I have no problem cutting up my stamp sets to fit inside an Avery L pocket because that was my end game. My end game was to have my stamps in an Avery L pocket, and I do recommend the Avery L brand. They seem to work really, really well. They've held up, and since I started with them, I just kept with them. But I will have linked below another option for you that is the Avery L type of pockets. It's just a clear pocket. Avery L is just a name brand. But I'll have that link below. You can look at Amazon for that. Okay, and so then what I did for my basics, when I stepped back and said, I am tired of trying to figure out how to inventory my stamps, I went back to the basics and I simply put these in categories. And so then I have 4 of these bins. So within these 4 bins, I have separate categories. And so in this bin, I just have 3. Okay, and so you can definitely see that in this one, I have a cheat sheet. Okay, and this stays right where I sit to scrap. It's right there in a little tray. And this is my cheat sheet. So whenever I need a stamp, I know which bin to get, because you notice, if you pull any of these, I don't have any number, no nothing. I don't have what category they are. I already know because my categories are very basic, like scallops and flowers, backgrounds, my Bible stamps. Everything's very basic. And so again, that video will be listed below. So if I look here, this is this one right here, scallops and flowers. So if I pull all of these are all scallops and flowers. Okay, that's all it is. Of course, I put my doilies in there too because my doilies, I love my doilies. Okay, and then these are my background stamps. Okay, again, background. And I did take these off the wooden block. I did do that. And so I think I talked about that in another video. I'll try to have that link below. And then, of course, right here, this is all my Bible stamps. So I just have 3 categories in this bin. Again, I have 4 bins, and I talk more about that. But I honestly, I just went back to the basics. And I just want to suggest, if you have an organizing project that is just like a noose around your neck, and you know what I'm talking about, it's just something that it's on your brain all the time. You think about it, it makes, you're just dragging your feet, and then it's probably not the right system. And this is where I was with my stamps. It was just something I just couldn't get it organized because it was too complicated. And so went back to the basics. No number, no nothing, just in a simple category with a yellow cardstock divider. I mean, you talk about simple. The day I sat down to do this was the day I was like, why didn't I think of this a long time ago? But it's, again, sometimes we make things harder on ourselves than it really is. But if you can inventory your stamps, I say go for it. Again, I think maybe I have too many to do. And then it just took too much time. I would much rather scrapbook than to inventory every one of these stamps, because I don't use them I don't use my stamps that much to put that much time in it. I didn't want to invest that much time in organizing them because I don't use them that much, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's what I will be doing. I will be taking these 5 or 6 sets here, 6 of them, and I will be putting them in A-rail pockets, and they will go in one of these categories. So, for example, this would go into my flowers, so this section right here, okay, and then this one here. Where would I put this one? Okay, let's see. It wouldn't go into quotes, sayings, phrases, maybe icons, probably, or travel, either one, because nautical, I have to travel to get to the sea, so that might be. So again, these categories would fit your style, not what everyone else's style is, or whatever categories. And then, of course, that's going to go in with my love. I have a love section, and then this, of course, is going to go into my alphas. Okay, and again, I will probably just be cutting those in half, somewhere like that, and putting this in one A-rail pocket and this in another. And so for this one here too, you would see that this here will not fit in an A-rail pocket. I will cut that up. I have no problem cutting up my stamps. No, because I want them in a pocket. Okay, so think of your end game when it comes to organizing your stamps. What is your end game? Do you have a certain spot you want them to be in? Do you have them in a certain bin you want them to be in? Do you want them in a certain pocket? Okay, do you want them in a certain category? You have to think about your end game. Okay, you have to think about your end game before you can even get started. Okay, it's like you're going on a trip. You cannot get in a car and get ready to go on a trip if you don't know where you're going. So for me, even with my background stamps, I knew I want every stamp I owned in an A-rail pocket. So that meant I had to, 1, either purge, or 2, I had to take them off my wooden block. And I don't have a single wooden block stamp in my space, and if it is, it's for decoration, because I just don't care for them. I just don't care. I took everything off my wooden block. Okay, and so and again, say if I was to play with all 4 of these, all I have to do is find the category in between these 2 yellow dividers, stick them in. I do not have to worry about them being in number and anything. Again, back to the basics. So sometimes see if your system is too complicated, and if you're not getting it accomplished, it could be for that very reason. It's just too complicated, and there's nothing wrong with going back to the basics. Absolutely. See, there's some Bible right there. I mean, how easy. Yeah. And then another thing is too, I have 4 of these bins, and I will tell you that I am pretty much at the end of all 4 of these bins. There's not much more that I can get in there, okay, because I have these 2 flower ones. Okay, they're going to have to go in there. Okay, but that's about it. Okay, but when you give yourself a certain allotted space, it is a visual reminder every single time. You have enough, you have enough, you have enough. And it does help with your shopping habits. Now, you do get things as gifts and things like that. You just deal with it. But for a quick fix, when I do not have time to put these away, such as these right here, I will just stick them in the front. Just like that, until I have time to address them. And that's where I'm at today. I'm going to absolutely address. Where did I put those in there? I think I put one in there, didn't I? Oh no, here I am. I have to put these 6 away. So that's what I'm doing today. Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit more about stamps. Let me put these somewhere. Let's talk about something else you can do for your stamps when you're talking about level 2. I'm going to say this is level 3, okay? We're going to talk about some other things as far as stamp accessories. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, let me put this on the floor. Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about another aspect of stamps, and that would be your roller date stamps. Okay, now not everybody has roller date stamps, but most of us do. So when you're thinking about your stamp organizing and cleaning and organizing and purging this week, also don't forget roller stamps falls into that category. So where do you have your roller stamps? Are you not using your roller stamps? Maybe it's time to purge your roller date stamps. This is not something I pull out very often, but I will tell you, it doesn't take up that much space. And I will have a video listed below showing about this, because this is something else I did that was it was a good change, because I used to have these in a basket and they kept getting dusty. And stamps and dust do not mix. Absolutely not. Okay, that's why Avriel pockets or any type of pockets is good for your stamps, because then your stamps don't get dusty. Same with these roller dates. And so I'll have a video linked below talk more about this, but don't forget roller date stamps. That would be something else you could do in level 2 or level 3. I say level 3 is really thinking about where you have your roller date stamps. Maybe move them closer to your desk. What I did for my level 3 is I actually found a container that worked well for me, worked in my system, and then what I did is I also included an ink pad. Yes, I absolutely put in a black ink pad, so that if I want to use this product, it is ready to go. I do not have to go get an ink pad. This is ready to go. Okay, so that's what I did. Yeah, very, very fun. And then if you look here at the bottom, and this is just a Totally Tiffany bag. Again, the video will be linked below. I even have some of my little cheat sheets that that tells you what your stamps are. I just put them right along in there. Okay, now again, this is another one of those things that you see what you have and you see how much you have. I maybe have room for one more roller date stamp, but that's it. Okay, again, you have enough, you have enough, you have enough. So you see why a lot of my, you can see why I'm in a spending freeze. That's just the season I'm in. I don't need anything. Okay, so don't forget, roller date stamps. That can be part of your stamp organizing this week. And then let's talk about another thing that you can do for level 3. Level 2, I would say gather up your stamping blocks, but level 3 is how about cleaning your stamp blocks, okay? Now, this is something else. This is another Totally Tiffany bag. These are the 1-inch, okay? They're perfect for roller date stamps, okay? And they're also, they're good for your stamping blocks. Now, a lot of us use stamping platforms, so that also could fall into that this week, is that where do you have your platforms? Do you have them handy? Do you have to dig for a platform, okay? If you have to dig for a platform or a block, you're not going to stamp. We know that. So that was something I had to change in my system. So again, this is just another Totally Tiffany bag. This little tray slides out, and this is all my stamping blocks, okay? And so I have them all ready to go. But level 3 would perhaps is to clean. Yes, clean your blocks this week. Look at where your platforms are at. Are they nearby? Do you need to change the place where they're at? And there's nothing wrong. And I want to say this because I've been scrapbooking 23 years, and every single year, probably every single month, I'm always moving something in my space, because we go through different seasons, we go through different styles. So sometimes it means moving things closer to your desk and then taking other things off your desk. Okay, so platforms, if you want to use your platform, it needs to be in arm's reach. And also too, if you use blocks, they need to be in arm's reach. For me, they're just in a bag. I grab the whole bag. But I will tell you, since we started using platforms, blocks don't get used as much, but I do love using a block to corral my stamps when I'm in the middle of a layout, because then they don't get lost. So I do find a purpose for them. And then, of course, let's talk about another stamp accessory, and that would be our cleaners. Okay, so let me show you something else. I'm telling you, this is level 3. Okay, so I have a photo box here, and I have several of these in my space, and so I just have this labeled, and let me move it for a minute. Okay, and what's it say? It says blades and cleaners. Okay, so if I was to open this, okay, try not to move my camera, is that you will see I will have all my stamping cleaners here. I love this bubblegum smell. Yes. And I will just keep all my cleaners in here. Of course, I have extra overflow of my favorite quick dry glue, and then also too I have blades and other cleaners and things like that. Okay, so anything that has to do with stamping and accessories, maybe give it a thought. Where do you have them? Maybe you simply just need to gather all those different stamping accessories, whether it's your blenders or brushes, and you mix media gals. You have a lot of this category. Okay, so all your cleaners and your brushes and your extras and your foamies and all that stuff, perhaps put them in a one box, label it, and call it done. So that way, if you need a stamp accessory, whatever that accessory would be for you. For me, I'm very limited as far as mixed media stuff. I don't really do any of that. So I really just have stamp cleaners, but then I also use this for my blades. You can see I have quite the overflow of blades. And then I do have a few of these, you can see. Yeah, they don't get used, no. Okay, so what else do I have? Just some overflow, okay? Perhaps get a box and put all your stamping accessories in in one place. That's the long story short. Just get in one place. And so that would be level 3, is thinking about your stamp accessories, okay? Perhaps putting an putting an ink pad with your roller date stamps, cleaning your stamp blocks, just giving some attention to your stamps and your stamping accessories. Maybe you just need to move your platforms closer to your desk. Okay, so that is probably what we're going to finish up with, talking about your stamps. So yes, remember these 3 things when it comes to stamps: purge, put away, and plan. Yes, the 3 things. Purge what you don't need for stamps. And I did that for my stamps when I was going back to the basics. I literally gave a hard look at all the stamps I have. And I thought, do I want it? Do I not? And there really wasn't too many because this is something, I'm just going to be honest, this is something I wish I would have never started buying. I truly, of all the things, I wish I would have never started buying stamps, because I don't think I use them enough for the amount of money I have put into stamps. I wish this was something I never started. Yes, because I mean, it's nice to have, and I'm not going to purge, like just get rid of all of them. I'm not going to do that, because things are going up in price. You can do a lot with stamps. So down the road, perhaps I'm going to have to rely on this product more, okay, when you can't afford other things. So that's why I did talk to my hubby about that. I was like, I would just like to get rid of all my stamps, but then the reality is, that really wouldn't make good sense, So that I was just being, honest. I wish I would have never started buying stamps. I really don't. I blame Nicole McGorrick-Spore for that, because she does beautiful stuff with stamps, and I saw how she would do them for layouts, and then I thought I had to have them, and then of course, then you just keep buying and buying and buying through the years. But I do wish I would have never started buying stamps. But anyways, you can't go back, can we? No. Okay, so let's talk about scraps now, because we talked about stamps enough. I hope that wasn't too much talk, okay? But stamps, definitely. It's one of those things you have to take a hard look, and it really isn't just stamps. You have to take a hard look at whatever product, whatever category, and say, do you really, really want these? Do you really, really enjoy it? Or is it just a really, really big pain, something you have to keep organizing and thinking about? And stamps is one of those things, until I'd say probably a couple years ago, I always entertained a notion, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. But then once I went back to the basics, I feel better about it, because it's a very simple way of organizing them. And then, of course, with the prices of things going up, I may have to rely on them. It's just like tools. No different than your punches. I see so many people destashing, things like this. These things, once you get rid of, it's hard to get it back, and these really never go bad. Okay, stamps, if you get some cheap ones, they're going to go bad. But give twice. Give your brain, what do I want to say? I'm stumbling over my words. Think twice before you purge tools and non-consumables, because they're hard to get back, they're hard to replace, and now they're going to be more expensive to replace, because I see that all the time. I see people doing destashes, and then 2 years later they're rebuying some of the things they destashed. Yeah, so think about that. And I am not someone that I think you should purge. No. There are times I get into a heavy purge, but if I would have purged all the time, I wouldn't have the inventory I have. So you have to find that own balance for yourself. Okay, that was a long rabbit trail. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk about stamps, or perhaps what I should do is probably stop there for a minute, get a drink, and put away these stamps before I trip over them. And then we're going to talk about scraps, and then we're going to actually play with some scraps, because remember what I said for stamps, we're going to purge, put away, and plan. We're going to do the same thing for scraps. Okay, so hang on a minute. Okay, so now let's talk about scraps. Okay, now scraps is one of those categories you have to get yourself into the frame of mind today, and from here on out, either you use it or you lose it, okay? Because scraps multiply quicker than dust bunnies. Yes, they do. So, and if you've been a long time crafter or a scrapbooker, you just get piles and piles and piles and boxes and boxes and boxes of scraps, and then you get overwhelmed, and you get frustrated. It's the same with the stamps. If you don't have a system that's easy, it just becomes a headache, okay? So I know for me, and I'll have a video linked below that talks about this category in length, because there are so many different ways to organize this, but it really comes down to how you want to use them, okay? And if you don't plan on using them, then do not keep them. Every so often, find a box When the box is full, you gift it to someone. Don't keep it if you're not going to use it. Now, if you want to use your scraps, then you need to think about where those scraps need to be so you can access them, okay? That's if you want to use them. If you don't want to use them, lose them. Yes, don't keep them. There's no way, okay? Because it just becomes a headache, okay? It becomes a pile in your life you don't need. Okay, but then if you do want to use them, then they have to be where you can access them, and that doesn't mean behind 3 boxes, a bin, a tote, and then they're in another box with a lid. It just won't work. They have to be in arm's reach. And that's just what I've learned over the years. Once my scraps kept getting closer and closer to my desk, I kept using them more. And then once I gave myself an allotted space for scraps, and in the video, it'll talk about many different ways over the years how I did scraps. I used to have a color drawer for every one of my scraps. If it was a red scrap, it went into a red drawer. If it was a blue scrap, it went into a blue drawer. Such a waste of space for me, because I didn't use them. So I'm thinking, why am I allocating and giving this category so much luxury space in my room when I didn't use them? So long story short, I now have a scrap folder. Okay, and I will show you my chunk. Okay, this is my chunk. Okay, because recently I did a purge. Okay, so that's my chunk of scraps, and you can see this is just a plain old manila pocket, you know, pretty one. But then what I do is I score the bottom, and so then that gives me basically it's not like you see what I'm saying? I have 2 scores here. And so that gives me a flat bottom pocket, is what I'm trying to say, a flat bottom folder. And so that is my scraps, and they sit right to my right, and then I use them all the time. I'm in this all the time, and I'm playing with this all the time. So when it comes to your scraps, level 1, just gather them, put them in a box or bin or a basket. And then second of all, the next question you say right away, are you going to use them or are you going to lose them? Okay, if you're going to use them, then you got to think about where they're going to be in what container. Okay, and that means give yourself an allotted container. And once that container is full, then you do have to take some time and you need to address it. The other thing is, if you're not going to use them, you just put them in a box and give it to someone, give it to the library, your daycare teacher, another fellow crafter, somebody. Everybody is always looking for scraps. Always, yes. Even if you just use the back of them and you just use them to make notes or something, you can do that. Okay, so then what we're going to do, and again, there'll be more talk about scraps in that video listed below. I mean, it's a long talk, but there's a thought process when it comes to scraps. And I think once you figure this out, you'll feel so much better, because then you feel like, okay, you're getting your money's worth out of the paper, or you're done with this paper and you're getting rid of it. It's one of those 2 decisions, really, honestly. And so then if you don't want to use it, bless someone else with it. But if you want to use it, then you need to perhaps move these closer to your desk. And so that's what I would say level 2 is think about, where are your scraps? What do you have them in? Can it be in a better container? Maybe reduce the amount of scraps you keep. Ooh, yeah, imagine that. Yeah. Reduce the amount that you keep in general. And so that's what I did. Over the years, this container got smaller and smaller and smaller, and now I'm down to a folder, and that's all I simply keep. And so then every so often, and I'll tell you why, because I look through this so often that I get tired of seeing them, so they leave my space very quickly. Okay, so then as we were talking about stamps, when we said to purge, put away, and plan, it's the same way with your scraps. You need to put them away, and if you don't want to put them away, then you need to purge. But if you are going to put them away, then you need to plan, what are you going to do with them? Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this mixer. We're going to sit here for a few minutes, and this is my scrap pile. And I was looking at this the other night because, you know, I'm always doing something in my space. And so I pulled some of these. I was putting some away. That's what it was. I was getting ready to put some away, and some of these are like, I don't really like. So I started a purge pile, and then I thought, oh, I need to do this for my whole folder. Why not? Because I might as well go through it at one time. So here's my purge file. My purge pile. Okay, so these are the ones I'm getting rid of, and this is one I just recently used in a kit crunch, but I'm really not, if I'm not excited about a piece of paper, it's not going to have space in my room. So then, since this is in a folder, I just keep this on my lap, and so then I just flip through them, and that is how quick I find. And right there are some yeah, right here's some that I don't want, okay? And you'll see this in a layout coming up soon. So I don't want any of those, okay? I don't want those, I don't want those, I don't want those, even though it's wood grain. I think it's because they've been in here for a while. I'm tired of looking at them. So all of this is going to go into, well, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. So yes, grab your scraps for a minute, okay? I'm going to leaf through this really quick. okay? And we're going to see which ones I don't want, okay? And then I'm going to talk to you about how I organize this, because I absolutely do organize this scrap folder. Yes, okay. So I'm going to give a quick look here to see if there's some things I don't care for, okay? I'm looking. I don't want that one. No. I don't want that one. No. It's even flowers, but I don't want it. No. If something does not spark joy, you know, as they say, if I don't love it, it's leaving. No, I don't. I just don't. Yeah, and these little sizes here, I'll show you. This right here, that doesn't work for me. No, I can't keep small sizes like that. That can go, okay? So I'm just giving a quick look at these scraps I don't want, okay? And so there's another one. I'm tired of seeing that. Tired of seeing it. So it's got to go, okay? What else do I have here? Tired of seeing those, okay? Oh, there's some purple in there. Yeah, see, that's what happens. This can go. Well, maybe I'll keep that one. Okay. What else have I got going here? I don't want that. Oh, those are some nice Prima. I don't want that. Okay. And then, of course, in the back, I'll show you. In the back, there is my cream scraps, and there's my white. Okay. So everything here in the front is either multicolor, and then I go right into, oh, there's another one I don't like. I'm tired of seeing that. Okay. See what happens if I'm just tired of seeing something? It's going in the scrap pile. So anything that's multicolor goes in the front, because I use those to as a little bit of an inspiration to play with my scraps, and I'll talk about that in a minute, because it's exactly what we're going to do. There's another scrap I don't want. Okay. And then everything else is just in rainbow. Pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, you know, brown, gray, that type of thing. And then I go right to my cream and I put my white in the very back, because when this is sitting to my right, I know if I want a white scrap, I just go to the very back, and that's what I do to get my white scraps. Okay, but that is my scraps. And you see, I even got rid of some. Yes. Okay. Now, even though I'm a floral type of gal, this here is not doing nothing for me. No, just because it's something that is something I do like. If I just don't love a piece of paper, I'm not keeping it. This, I'm simply just tired of seeing it. It has floated around my space for probably 9 months. This, I'm just tired of seeing. So all of this is going into my purge pile. And what I might do is I probably will just keep this to the side, and when I do a giveaway coming up, I might see if whoever is the winner, if they want the rest of these, you know, because some people like scraps, some people don't, okay? So I will put all this, yes, so there's my purge, okay? So I put all my scraps away, so that's done. There's my purge pile. So now let's do the plan part of our purge, put away, and plan. Yeah. So there you go. All right. I'm happy with that. Okay. So let's play with the scraps a little bit. Let's make a plan. What can you do with these scraps? Well, of course, you know, you can make fast pages with scraps. And during International Scrapbook Day weekend, I think I did 10 videos that weekend. And so I did a lot of layouts just using scraps, and they were in very simple sizes. So I will have that linked below. Hop over. What was that called? I think it was scrap paper pages. That's what it was called. So look into that. And so just pull out your scrap box, bin, basket, whatever you have, and make some fast pages. And so I'm going to just sit here and plan a couple layouts with some scraps. I thought that would be something fun just to hang out. But if you don't want to watch that, I know, I totally get that. But if you want to see how I can use this scrap folder to my benefit and maybe pull together a couple layouts, we'll see. It doesn't matter what time. Yeah, I got a little bit of time to kill today. Absolutely. Okay, so what I do is when I'm playing with my scraps, and I want to make some layouts. Maybe it's just something, maybe this folder is getting a little thick, and I'm like, oh, I can plan some pages. Not that I don't have a ton of other paper, but it's just something I like to do. It makes for fast pages. Is that I will find these pieces like this. This is blue. That needs to go into blue. Okay, so this is going to go into blue. Okay, so let me find my blue section here. Okay. Multicolor pieces. Whenever I see these multicolor pieces, then I will pull them, and then I will pull a few other scraps in this color range, and then I will put a page together. Okay, so I have to put this on my lap. That's just how I play with my scraps. They have to go on my lap. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull something multicolor here. Okay, and then I have some copy paper here, so that's how I separate, you know, my papers for my pages. I have that laying here. So let me see what I have here as far as a multicolor. Okay, I have some rainbows, I have flowers. Okay, I have this piece of plaid here. That would be a fun piece to play with, okay? And so this is just a scrap, Echo Park, beautiful, okay? And so it's just a small piece. So what I can do is take colors from this. We're gonna build some page kits with our scraps. How's that for a plan? Absolutely. Okay, so what would I look for? Well, I'd look for the pink or the blue. And since these are all in order, let me just show you here for a minute. Since all of this is in order by rainbow, once I get past my multicolor, since that's all in order by color, I simply just go to the color I'm looking for. And since this is on my lap, it's an easy process. So I'm going to go to the navy here and see if I have any navy or blue. And I have some scraps here. Okay. And again, this is just on my lap. I'm just looking through the folders. Kind of hard to do on camera. But right there. And so we'll see how some of this comes together. Okay. So there is some blue. Again, just scraps. So what I could look for some yellow or some green. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, I could pull some pink. Here's a pink scrap. What else do we got? That's enough blue, right? I could look through some yellow. I don't really have enough yellow. I could pull a couple more pinks. See how this has a couple different shades of pink? I could pick another pink. And then what else? I could pick another pink. That. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, kind of, maybe. Or here's another pink. Oh, I like that better. Okay, so that's more of a coral, so I'll put that back. Okay, so that is plenty. That's plenty for a page, okay? And so don't worry how many pieces you're using. Just pull some till you think, oh, okay, that looks good. And then I simply put a piece of copy paper on top of that. Now I'm going to put one on the bottom, okay? Because scraps are something, these aren't 12 by 12 pieces of paper. They're not even 6 by 12. So these are hard, they're easy to lose. So that is one page that I could simply do a fast page with those scraps right there. Very, very fun. Okay, so now let's do another one. And you notice I'll always pull a multicolored piece, okay? Unless I have a color scheme. So what's some multicolor? Okay, well here's something that I was playing with for a Disney page. Definitely multicolor. It's even got metallics in there. So I could find a metallic. So let me go to my gold. That's back there with my black. And sometimes I put gold in the front. Okay, oh, I have a scrap. That came from the same layout. Yeah, that's probably going to glare. That came from the same layout. Okay, that was that Disney Cinderella page. So let me see if I can find something to go with that. Because even though I use this for a Disney page, when I'd use it again, it doesn't have to be a Disney page, but it's a nice scrap. Let me see what else I could use here. I'm just leafing through papers. Let's see, could I find a pink? Let's see, I had that dull mustard yellow. So, and I'm sorry I have to do this on my lap, but it's just, you know, old habits are hard to break. Oh, and there's some more scraps that's going to the scrap pile. Okay, that's going to my purge pile. There's some pink. I don't know about that. There's some pink. They're not really doing too much for me. Okay, there's another one. Nope. Okay, so let me go to see if I can find something in the green or the turquoise. That's kind of okay. I don't know. I'll find something. Okay. Well, here's a piece of wood grain. Oh, I like those. I like that. Oh, I like that a lot, Mary. I really do. I might even stick that in there. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I like either one. So, okay. I'll just leave that there. Maybe I could find something else as far as maybe a blue. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a blue. Okay. Now, if this is not something you, you know, you like seeing, by all means, come back in a few days. We'll probably have week number 6 popping up, so that would be fun. Okay, but this is just simply how I'm taking my scraps and making some pages. I mean, you were already sitting here playing with them, getting them in a little bit of an order, thinking about them. So why not do level 3 and maybe plan a couple pages? Because that's the purpose of having things organized so you can play with them. I kind of like that. Okay, so there we go. That's enough pieces of paper, okay? And so I don't try to find the perfect scrap to go with the other perfect scrap. I just find something that kind of looks good together. Okay, so now what do we have again? We have, okay, so I have this other, and you see what, basically all florals, yeah. But that's how I start a lot of my pages. And once you know that about yourself, okay? So there, I mean, that's going to be easy. Just look for orange or turquoise or even some green. Okay, so let me go to my orange section. Let's see what we have here. Orange, orange. yeah, that's okay. Here's another orange. Oh, I like that better. Okay, I like that one better. Okay, and then what else do I have? Some turquoise, some light turquoise. Oh, that's pretty nice. That looks very similar. Or I have this turquoise. No, well, of course, these two are going to match because these are both the same My Mind's Eye. They might even be from the same collection. Yeah, I think they are. I think that's from the same collection. So I could do this. Of course, this is My Mind's Eye paper too. That's pretty. Maybe add another orange or not? No, don't like that. I think I'll just stick with that. Okay, so you see, I don't spend a lot of time, but I enjoy the process. Yeah, okay, so let's put this orange away. That wasn't really too hard. And then sometimes you'll find that when you're looking through your scraps, that you can remember the page that you did. you played with them. Yeah. Oh, that's, I don't know. A little bit of orange can go a long way. Okay, so right there is one. See, and that's just 3 pieces of paper. But you can definitely take this and make a block design. Pretty dang quick with that. Yes, absolutely. Okay, we just talked about that. Okay, the block design. Okay, so now let's talk about another one. Let's see what we can find. You know I'm going to go for a flower piece because that is just the easiest thing. I could start with this one. But I don't know. I think I'm tired of this piece of paper. It's going to my scrap. It's going to purge. I'm just tired of looking at that. Even though I love that collection, I'm just tired of looking at it. Okay, so here's a flower piece. Okay, these are easy for me because it's multicolor and florals is what speaks to my heart. So I'm just going to look for anything in this pink, coral, of course, that jadeite green. That's where I'm going to go. Jadeite green. Let's see what we can find. Okay. Of course, I just had that piece of paper. No, I'm not liking that. Oh, this is a jadeite green. Oh, I think that's from, oh yeah, that's from the same collection, of course. Yup. That wasn't too hard, was it? No. Too bright. Oh, that looks kind of nice. Yeah. Okay. So let's look for some pink and some coral. Oh, here's another turquoise. Oh, I like that too. Let's see, now I'm getting too many. Oh, well, whatever, I like it. Don't hem-haul around. Make a quick decision. It's okay if you have too many scraps in there. Because if whatever you don't use, it's going to go back into your scrap pile, right? So it doesn't matter. No, absolutely. That's the fun of it. Just let your hair down and have fun playing with some colors and some patterns. And what was I looking for? Pink and coral. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so I have this piece. That's okay. I have this piece. Oh, I like that better. Or maybe I like all of that. Oh, no. Okay, make a decision. Make a decision and go. Didn't I just say that? Yeah. Oh, there was this other piece. Oh, where did it go? I just saw it. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so I do like those. So those are all going to go together. Okay. And then you'll find that sometimes working within a company, even though I'm pretty sure that came from the same collection. But sometimes My Mind's Eye papers will all have the same tone. Crate paper all has the same tone. So sometimes you can get away with your scraps just playing with that. Okay, so now let's find something here. I have a Simple Stories. I have these headers. And I just put this in the multicolor section because that's exactly what it is. And right there. And actually, I think I have 2 of those. Let me look here. Yes, I have 2 of those. Okay, so there is... that's 2 of that. Okay, so I definitely could use that as a fast header and a title for a page. I could come down that and use that like as strips. So I would need something to go with that. So what would I do? Well, let me get a cup of tea here and let me think. You definitely could grab the red and the turquoise. And the brown. I have enough yellow. Okay, so let me go for red. Okay. Red. And you know what I think this would be fun to do is if you had some scrappy friends and you swapped scraps. Yes, if you took her scrap folder, she took your scrap folder, and then you got to play with her scraps, she got to play with yours. Oh yeah, what I wouldn't do if I had a crafty neighbor. That's a little too dark. Okay, yeah, I could have a lot of fun. Oh, that's kind of pretty. I like the red tones. That's nice. Okay, so what else are we going to look for? I got my red covered. I got my yellow covered. Let's see. We could go for some of that turquoise or green. We could do that. So let's look for some green. Okay, so we have, no. And this piece here. I'm telling you. It's like it's kind of competing a little bit. Okay, we have this one. Oh, I like that. That'll be good enough for poor people. Okay, now let me see if I can find some blue. Okay, I have this blue. No. Oh, I have this wood grain. One of my favorite. This is one of my favorite pieces of paper by Paper House, and it's called At the Beach. And of course, it has a scene on the front, but the back is this glorious blue. I mean, I'm talking navy wood plank. Oh, love that. But it doesn't kind of go there, does it? No. Okay. And I have this navy cardstock. Nope. That's not going to do it. Nope. Okay, come on. Keep on going. Okay. There we go. There we go. We got something. So we got some hearts, diagonals. We got stripes. So we got circles. So try to get a variety. Of course, you can see in the Simple Stories paper, that's got a little bit of everything. Okay. Now, if I could find some brown, I think that would bring it home. I really, really like that. That looks like summer, doesn't it? Yeah, it kind of looks like my Kit Crunch. Okay. So let's find something in the brown. Okay, well, this is too much brown. No, that does. You see what I'm saying? This is more whimsical. This is too serious. Yeah. That's like going to Aunt Sally serious. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, what do we have for brown? I have that wood grain. No, that's too dark, too rich. But you know what I do have in here? I have a piece of cork. I like that. It looks very homey, very homespun. That's the word. Okay, so that wasn't too hard, but I really, really like that. Okay, so you see how these scraps would get lost. So I just keep them, you know, separated by a piece of copy paper. So I hope this isn't too long. Maybe we'll just do one more. Why not? Let's do one more. Let's see what I see for a multicolor. I have these rainbows, but I'm not feeling that. I have this crepe paper. I'm kind of tired of turquoise and pink. Let's do that. I have even created a page kit from a scrap as small as this. Absolutely. So even these small pieces, they can give you the inspiration to make a page kit, even though you don't even use that. Let me show you an example. Okay. In the front here, I will not get rid of this. Look at these little scraps here. I love the colors in this. So you can't really make a page out of these little scraps, but I really, really like that you can make a color scheme out of that. Okay, so I'm hanging on to them just to use as a color scheme. And the same way with this Echo Park paper. I love that. Again, that's a pink and turquoise, but you know, I'm hanging on to those because that's inspiration. Even though that's really not enough to play with, it's an inspiration. So I wanted to say that. And I just keep them in the very front. Okay, so I have this piece of paper. Oh, yes. Okay. This is another My Mind's Eye. So what do we have? We have ivory. We have a very light turquoise. We have a green. And then, of course, we have the brown. So what would I start with? I don't know. Well, let's start with some turquoise. Okay. Again, let's pull out this piece of paper again. It's not the right mood and feel. This is too geometric. This is Sugarland, baby. That's beautiful. I love that piece of paper. And you see how I'm going to do a page just based on the mood and feel of that, okay? That's too bright. That's not enough. Not enough. Let's see. Well, oh, now this might be good. Oh, yeah. The honeycomb. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like the homey feel, okay? I like the homey feel on that. Okay, so let's go to the brown. Let's see what we can get for brown. We have this. No, see, that's too serious. Yeah, that's funeral parlor serious. Yeah, no, we are not doing that. Okay, I have this. This is very basic, but that looks good. I mean, I have to get rid of this. I have to get rid of that little color there on that branding strip. It's throwing me off. So that's not too bad. So if I could find something, what am I looking for? Maybe some green? Or if I find a neutral, let's go see what we have in black. Okay, because that is always nice to add to the mix. No, too bold, too serious. Yeah, I give all my papers a mood. Yeah, no, too dark. Too light. It's like the Three Little Bears. Okay, that's just completely wrong. This is seriously not right. Okay, okay, so let's go to the lighter. Now this would be okay. This has a little bit of a sheen to it, but I kind of like that. Okay, so what would round that out? I would say some green. So, or I was looking for black, wasn't I? Okay, black. See, I got sidetracked. Okay, something in black. Okay, oh, I have this text. It's a chunk. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Okay, and now that brings up another point. Let me flip over this black and white text and I'll show you what it is. Hello. Okay, so when you organize your scraps, put them in the color family that you think you would use. So for me, I like this black and white text better than I did the orange, so I put it in the black. Okay, if that makes sense. I really like that. I like that a lot, Mary. Yes, I do. So I'm looking for a green. Do I need a green? No. But I'm going to look for one. Why not? This is the last one I do. I hope this was enjoyable. I know I could sit here for hours. And I could, and there have been times, honestly, I kid you not, there have been times where I have taken the majority of my folder and I have made page kits with them because it's just something I was in the mood to do. Okay, what was I doing? I was looking for what? Oh, green. Yes, I want to see what I have for some green. Okay, so... no. And that's all I do is I hold that up, see if it gives me the mood and feel that I want. And I know that ain't going to work. No. And that, you can tell, that was from a layout I did about my brother. Yes. Okay, that's a little too serious. And I have this right here. I definitely could do this. Okay, so if I'm not sure, what I'll do is I will take some of my paper and I will line them up just like this so I see a small sampling of that, and then I could probably do that. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that was some fun playing with the scraps, just a little bit of fun. Why not? Because if you're going to get something out and organize it, then the next step is to plan playing with it. Absolutely. So that is all I have for week 5 in the Summer Space Shape Up. I'll come back in a few days or next week and we'll have week number 6. And what will we be doing in week number 6? Let me see, because I don't even know myself. Okay, we are going to, page protectors and punches. Yes, so that's what we have up for week 6. So come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.